Inspired by a true story, this movie hilariously blends heart and chaos as two men from completely different worlds form an unlikely bond that changes both their lives forever. Late one night in Paris, Driss is behind the wheel, driving his employer Philippe through the city streets. When waiting in traffic becomes dull, Driss decides to break the monotony by speeding up, weaving between cars and completely ignoring the traffic rules. His reckless driving quickly draws the attention of the police, who begin chasing them. Confident and playful, Driss wagers €100 that he can shake them off, but after darting under a bridge, the police surround them from both sides. Still unfazed, Driss grins and raises the stakes, betting €200 that he'll manage to get a police escort instead. When the officers approach, they order him out of the car, and Driss quickly pretends to be offended, explaining that Philippe is disabled and needed to be taken to the hospital urgently. The police check the vehicle, notice the wheelchair in the trunk, and when they move closer to Philippe, they see him pretending to convulse. Believing it to be a real emergency, the officers let Driss go and even escort them toward the hospital. To celebrate his clever trick and the success of the bet, Driss blasts a song by Earth, Wind, and Fire. As soon as they arrive and the policemen leave, he lights up a cigarette and shares it with Philippe. Before the hospital staff can approach, Driss assures Philippe he's got everything under control and drives them away once more. This bond of friendship started months ago. In a grand Paris mansion, a wealthy man named Philippe and his assistant Magali are interviewing candidates for the position of live-in caregiver. Philippe is a quadriplegic, paralyzed from the neck down, and the line of applicants outside his study couldn't be more awkward. Each interview feels dull and scripted, until a man named Driss barges in without waiting his turn. Driss isn't there for a job. He only wants Philippe's signature to prove he applied, so he can collect unemployment benefits. He's direct, cheeky, and even flirts with Magali mid-conversation. Everyone in the room is shocked except Philippe, who finds the whole thing hilarious. Amused by Driss's honesty, he tells him to come back tomorrow to pick up his signed paperwork. That night, Driss returns to his cramped apartment in a rough Paris neighborhood. He tries to take a bath, but his younger siblings keep interrupting. Only his older sister Mina seems mature enough to help hold the family together. When their mother finally arrives home, Driss proudly gives her a stolen Faberge egg, pretending it's a gift from his vacation. She isn't fooled or impressed. He's been gone for 6 months without a word, and now he shows up acting like nothing happened. Frustrated and exhausted, she kicks him out of the house. That night, Driss wanders the neighborhood, sharing cigarettes and laughs with friends under the dim streetlights, not realizing his life is about to change forever. The next day, Driss returns to Philippe's mansion expecting just a signature. Instead, Philippe offers him the job, a 1-month trial as his personal caregiver. Even better, Philippe makes it interesting. "I bet you won't last 2 weeks." Driss smirks and accepts. Yvonne, the housekeeper, gives him a tour of the luxurious home. She explains Philippe's daily routine and shows Driss the guest room that would be his, complete with his own private bathroom. The large bathtub immediately catches Driss's attention. He's already picturing himself soaking in it. Soon after, Yvonne begins showing him how to assist Philippe, massaging his legs to stimulate blood flow, moving him between bed and wheelchair, helping him shower and dress. When he realizes the job also involves some very personal tasks, Driss complains loudly, but eventually does them anyway. Over the next days, Driss starts adjusting to this strange new life. He's loud, unfiltered, and impossible to ignore, teasing Magali, cracking jokes, and refusing to treat Philippe with pity. It's exactly what Philippe needs. For the first time in years, someone talks to him like an equal instead of a patient. Driss makes plenty of mistakes, handing Philippe the phone instead of holding it to his ear, forgetting the baby monitor, mixing up letters, but Philippe is patient, even entertained. Soon, Driss begins to understand Philippe's routines and responsibilities, and slowly, a friendship begins to form. Driss notices Philippe often receives handwritten letters from a woman named Eleanor, but he never meets her in person. They've been writing for months, a beautiful connection limited to words on paper. Driss thinks it's ridiculous. Without hesitation, he finds Eleanor's number and calls her himself, forcing Philippe to finally talk to her over the phone. To everyone's surprise, the call goes perfectly, and Philippe can't stop smiling afterward. Later that night, Philippe suffers from phantom pain, a cruel side effect of his injury. Hearing his labored breathing through the baby monitor, Driss rushes to his room and helps him through the episode. When Philippe says he needs air, Driss wraps him in a blanket and takes him outside to the river. For the first time in years, Philippe watches the city lights flicker over the water. As they share a joint and talk about life, loss, and love, Philippe admits he still craves excitement, and Driss, without knowing it, gives him exactly that. From that moment, their lives intertwine completely. Driss brings energy and humor to Philippe's world, driving him in luxury cars, dancing to earth, wind, and fire, and making every routine feel alive again. Philippe, in return, shows Driss art, music, and culture, things he never cared for before. Both men begin to heal, each in their own way. Driss even tries painting, and Philippe ends up selling one of his abstract pieces for over 10,000 euros, just to boost his confidence. Together, they prove that laughter, respect, and friendship can bridge even the widest gap in life. Eventually, Philippe realizes that Driss needs to focus on his family and his younger brother, Adama, who's headed down a dangerous path. So, with sadness but understanding, Philippe lets him go. Driss packs his things, says his goodbyes, and leaves behind a changed man. Philippe's new caretaker is polite, efficient, and painfully boring. Days feel long and empty. Without Driss's chaos, the mansion is silent again. Late one evening, he turns down assistance from anyone in the house as he struggles with his phantom pain. Concerned, Yvonne decides to call Driss and asks him to come over. That's when they end up in the same situation shown at the beginning, being chased by the police before eventually getting escorted to the hospital. After that eventful night, Driss takes Philippe to the seaside, where the view of the ocean helps him relax and find peace again, cleans up his beard, and surprises him with something special. Waiting at a seaside restaurant is Eleanor, the woman from the letters. She greets Philippe with a warm smile, completely unbothered by his wheelchair. Philippe's face lights up, nervous, happy, alive. Driss leaves quietly, giving his friend one last gift: peace. The real Philippe Pozo di Borgo later settled in Morocco, where he remarried and had 2 daughters. The real Driss, whose name is Abdelselou, built a business, married, and raised 3 children of his own. Despite their differences, their friendship remains unbreakable, a reminder that sometimes the best connections come from the most unexpected places.